Welcome back, wicked friends, and welcome to another Halloween DIY video. So today we are making these cutesy little witches out of vintage clothespins and a few other little items such as felt and pipe cleaners. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, subscribe, turn on your notifications bell, and make sure it is set to all so that you receive all of our notifications. Okay, let's get started with this project. All right, so first of all, I have a few little supplies here. This is actually minimal supplies that you need to make these cute little witches. I think these are adorable. I've been wanting to make these for another project that I am doing, but I wanted to show you how I make them because they're pretty easy and they're fun and very vintage. They can be used as ornaments. You can use them on their own, or you can put them in other crafting projects as well. So for supplies, I have a few little sheets of felt. I just got these from Hobby Lobby. I'm actually just using an orange and a black 11.5 by 9 by 11.5 sheets of felt. It doesn't really matter the size. You pick the size and color that you want, as long as you have enough to cover about a 4.5 by 4.5 square, you're good to go. Okay, I also have some glow-in-the-dark white rickrack, which I'm going to be using. And then I have a couple of the old-fashioned clothespins like this. Now, you can use the regular clothespins that you squeeze open and close. It's really preference. I like to use this style because I think it looks a little bit more vintage, but it's completely up to you. Also, I have these little wooden beads that have painted faces on them. Now, I got these right here from Temu. However, you can use regular wooden beads. I've seen the wooden beads at Dollar Tree before. You can just get the regular wooden beads and then draw on the faces or paint the faces as you want. This one, I didn't even use one. I actually just used the round bulb of the top of the clothespin for a face. So it's completely up to you. You can mix and match however you want. And then also you're going to need some scissors, you're going to need some cardstock, a ruler, and I also have one of these little tools that you can draw a circle with. So first of all, I'm going to be making a template, just so that you know. The template is going to be for the actual dress of the witch, or the actual the main body of the witch. And this is what it's going to look like right here. So in order to get that shape, or makes it a good size dress for each one of the little witches, I use a 4.5 inch by 4.5 inch piece of cardstock, just like this. Now, I've already done one out, this is the one that I've been using, but I wanted to show you how I got that shape so that you know how to make your template to cut your felt. So basically, if you have a 4.5 inch by 4.5 inch square, what you want to do is you want to take your little, I forget what these are called, but they draw the circle. You want to take your little guide here, and if you don't have one of these, you can always use like a little needle with a thread with a pencil on the end of it and do that, or you could use a bowl that's just the right shape. But what I like to do is I will open this up to exactly 4.5 inches. So it's the exact width of the paper itself, and you start at one corner, and then you're just going to draw your line that will bring you over to the other corner, and that will give you that perfect arched shape of the bottom of the skirt. Okay, so very easy. As long as you get that arched line from one corner to the opposite corner, you're good to go, because you're going to cut this off. So that's what we're going to do now. We'll just cut this off. All right, so now that is the bottom of our skirt. All right, now for the neck, What I do for the neck is I measure in from that same corner that we measured, or that same corner that we used to draw our arch line. You're going to measure 1 1/4 inches down on both sides. So 1 1/4 inches from here to here, make a little mark, and 1 1/4 inches from here to here, make a little mark. Then 1/4 inch in from here to here, you're going to make another little mark, 1/4 inch, and 1/4 inch from here to here. And then you're going to connect those two lines together with another straight line. So this is going to be your shape that you're going to cut out. So it will be 1/4 inch in, 1/4 inch in, and then a line to connect the two. So now we're just going to cut that out. So very easy. You can adjust these also depending on the size of your clothespins. I find most of these vintage clothespins are about 3 1/4 to 4 inches in size. So this template right here will work perfectly for just the basic standard size clothespin. All right, so now that we have our template, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our felt and we're going to, I have a white, if I have it here somewhere, I have a white pencil that's used for like a white seamstress pencil. So basically all I'm gonna do is I'm going to line up my little template on the corner of my felt, and I'm going to just, with my white pencil, I'm just going to trace the outside or the outline of my template. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Very simple. Now, if you want it to be really fancy, you could use some pinking shears to create kind of like a jagged edge at the base of the skirt, which would look cute, but just regular scissors are fine as well. All right, so we're just cutting that template out. Now you can do a bunch of these at once if you're making multiples. You could cut out all of your templates just so that they're all ready to go. To make it easier. All right, so now that we have our template all out, now it's time to start to glue this together. Now what I do is I'm using hot glue. I have my hot glue all heated up over here, and all I'm gonna do is along one edge, I'm gonna just put a thin strip of hot glue right along the edge of our little dress. And then I'm going to just fold it around very carefully, just like that, and pinch it shut. So super easy. This creates a really cute little almost bell shape for the witch's dress, or her, it's not her cape because we're going to make a cape after, but this is kind of just like the base of her dress. All right, so now that we have that shape, now we're going to pick one of our clothespins. So I have this clothespin right here, and I'm also going to use one of these little wooden head beads. Now, like I said, you can buy them from Temu already with the face already painted on, or you can draw or paint your own face on your own wooden bead. I was actually considering taking some green paint and painting one of my wooden beads green and then putting a face on, almost like the green face from the Wicked Witch of Wizard of Oz, which I thought would be really cute. Okay, so we're going to take our clothespin and we're going to just pop it through the hole at the top of our little dress. And I just want to make sure that when I'm putting it through, that the seam of my dress lines up with the opening of my clothespin. So as you can see, here's the seam and here's the opening. It creates one long line, just like that. That way you know it's on correctly. All right, and then I'm just gonna take a little bit of hot glue and just kind of go around the neck of this clothespin. and we'll just pinch that felt dress right into the neck. And this is what's gonna hold that in place. All right, so once we get that on there, then we can go ahead and put a little bit of glue on the top of our clothespin and glue our wooden head bead. Make sure it's going the right way here. Glue our little wooden head bead right on top of our clothespin. And again, make sure you're holding it so that the front of the dress is here and the legs are in the right spot. We'll just glue that in like that. So here is the body and head of our little witch. Okay, now that little piece, that little corner of the felt that we cut off of our template, we want to use this for a witch's hat. And just like we did on the skirt, we want to put some glue down one edge. And we're going to fold this over into another cone shaped for the little witch's hat. Just like that, fold it around. It makes a really cute little witch's hat. It's just about the right size. So what I do is I kind of just pull the edges out a little bit just to open it up. And then what we'll do is we'll glue it right onto the top of her head. So we'll put a little bit of glue just on the inside of that hat. And glue it right to the top of her head, just like that. Now you could put hair on her. You could use some yarn or something like that to put hair on her if you wanted. I'm actually going to use a little bit of these tinsel stems, which Dollar Tree calls them. These are the pipe cleaners from Dollar Tree. These are the Halloween ones. They usually have them in black, and they also have them in orange. Whenever I see them, I do stock up on them. Okay, so for this one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just use my finger, and kind of like in the fattest part of my finger, I'm gonna wrap my little tinsel stem around and make like a loop like this. And then when I get to the end of the loop, I'm just going to twist the end around to hold all of those loops together. So I think I have 1, 2, 3, I have 4 loops. So one stem makes about 4 loops, but I want it to be a little bit thicker. I don't want it to be really thin. So that's what I have here. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit more glue, and I'm just gonna do a couple dots of this glue just around the outer edge of her hat. And this is where the rim of her hat is gonna be. And we'll take that little loop and we'll just set it right down into that glue. So now we have the little rim of her witch's hat, which is very cute. She's looking so cute already. And now what's nice about these, because they are a wired tinsel, you can go ahead and like change the shape of them a little bit and kind of just move them and adjust them the way you like. So this actually is really cute. It's showing just a little bit of one eye, which is kind of cutesy. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take another pipe cleaner, and we are going to take this pipe cleaner and we're gonna fold it into thirds. So we're gonna fold it 1/3 up, and then we're gonna fold another third down. It's a little bit small, like make it a little bit bigger here. So yeah, just fold that into thirds. And once you get it folded into thirds, I kind of twist mine. So I'll just twist the whole thing just to hold all of those 3 pieces together. Now, because you folded it, you should have 2 ends that are rounded and not sharp, which those will be the hands. And then it also makes it a little bit thicker. We're going to bend that in half. And now these are going to be her arms. Okay, so what we're going to do is on the back of her neck, back here, we'll put a little bit more glue. and we'll take our pipe cleaner arms that we folded in half, and we're just going to hold those down into the glue. Just like that until we get it to kind of where we want. And we're almost done. This is a very easy project. And they come out so cute. Okay, so I have this sheer spider web, what is it? Netting. It's the sheer sparkly spider web netting. I think this came from Dollar Tree also. But I'm going to use a little piece of this for her cape. Now I'm going to use the same template, and I'm just going to line it up on my netting and then do a quick little mark with my pencil here, and we'll cut that out really quickly. All right, so now this one, I'm not going to cut the top off like I did here. I'm not going to cut that. I'm going to actually leave that top point because we're going to fold that over like a collar. Now we're also going to take a little bit of our rickrack. Now this is where you want to make sure that your sparkly side, because there's one side that's more dull and there's one side that has the glitter on it. You want to make sure that this sparkly side is going to be on the outside. So you want it facing up. I'm going to take a little bit of my rickrack. Let's see, I'm going to take about 6 inches of rickrack. Cut that off. And then right in the center of the rickrack, we're going to put some hot glue. So very lightly, just a couple little dots of hot glue right down the center. Not all the way, but only about 1.5 inches or so of the center of the rickrack. And then we're going to lay that rickrack right across that top point of our little cape here. So this is the arched or curved bottom, and then this is that top point, and then this is going to fold down over the back of that rickrack, so that way when we wrap it around her neck like such, we're going to just tie this little cape, tie the rickrack, and it's going to hold that little flap in the back down like a little collar. We're just going to do a little tie. I'm actually going to, once I do my little tie like this, I'm going to actually glue down these ties on the front here, just so that they don't go flopping around and so that they lay flat. So we'll glue one to that side, and we'll glue one to this side. Just hold them down because I just want them to lay flat. I don't want them to be flopping all over the place. So there's her little cape, which is very cute. All right, now I'm also going to take a little bit of this rickrack and line the bottom of her skirt as well. Now you can use the rickrack. I've used tinsel. You can use a little small piece of tinsel if you want. As you can see, I used the rickrack in this one. I really like the rickrack. I think the rickrack gives it that very vintage look. So I'm going to start on the back where the seam is, and just about 1/4 inch up, I'm going to just line the bottom with a little hot glue, and we'll just take our rickrack and stick it right down into that hot glue and work our way all the way around. This is such a fun little project. I love doing little projects like this that are easy, and then you can do multiples of. You can make multiples of these and turn them into ornaments. And then you could hang them on a little Halloween tree, or you could hang them I like to put these on my buffet because I usually decorate my buffet in my dining room up. So I like to just kind of scatter a bunch of them on a buffet. But it's just a fun little project. Okay, and we're gonna just cut that off. So now we have a rickrack all the way around the front of her little dress there. So there she is right there. She's all ready to go. Now, if you wanted to use the rickrack for a hang tag, you could make a little loop and glue the little loop together and then glue it right to the back of her neck, and then you'd have a little hang tag for a little ornament. I'm not going to put any hang tags on these because I'm going to be using these in another project. So I'm just going to make quite a few of them, and they'll be going in another project that I'm doing. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, this was kind of a short video here today, but that's fine. If you did, give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, turn on those notification bells, and make sure they are set to all so that way you receive all of my notifications. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.